If you like this video, please rate, comment, share and subscribe. If you dislike it, please tell me why, so I can improve. I'm going to talk today about the whole gender dysphoria thing. I've done a video on this before. It was called Why I Hate Being Male. I'll put it here. But I wanted to talk about a different aspect of the whole thing. This is not to judge anybody else who is transgender or gender dysphoric or however you want to describe it. It's more about me, and it's also not anti-male. It's anti-me being male, but it's not anti-male. It's not about the psychological reasons why I'm like this, although those are also important, but I'm just not going to go into them now. I think we tell ourselves different stories about our lives, and sometimes we emphasize different things about our lives. And obviously it is very significant to me that I'm male and I don't like being male. But we could say other things, and I could have said other things at different times about myself. But this is where I am at the moment. I suppose it is not a panacea. If I were to wake up tomorrow female in every physical way, that wouldn't be the answer to all my problems. And it's tempting to think that it would be the answer to all my problems because I happen to be very unhappy with the situation. But that's not how things actually work. So, how do I put this? I am not a woman in a man's body. What I am is somebody who is really unhappy with being male. And I've found a new way of looking at this, which I think is quite interesting, which is that I personally have decided to construct this socially as a disease, being male as a disease for me. I am personally not happy with being male. As far as I'm concerned, being male is a bit like a disfiguring skin disease, which also affects the way you think and the way you behave, which is incorporated in society in a particular way. So it's a bit like having a large unsightly birthmark on your face, or having psoriasis, except that with psoriasis there are obviously much more severe physical problems, whereas being male does bring physical problems, but not particularly ones like that. It's also like wearing glasses, because what the approach I've taken to this is that masculinity is an incurable disease which can be managed but not healed. So it's like the decision to take estrogens is like wearing glasses. I can do Batesian eye exercises, and they do improve my eyesight to some extent. I could also have laser eye surgery, which would presumably make a big difference to my eyesight, but it would be quite invasive. So I choose to wear glasses, and that resolves my problem. I can see things more clearly that way. Similarly, I choose to take phytoestrogens and to shave my body, and perhaps do some other things as well, because that's like wearing glasses for me. It doesn't solve the problem, it just addresses it. There are examples of vitamin deficiencies which are connected to hormones. For example, vitamin D is effectively a hormone, and if you're not exposing yourself to sunlight and you don't get enough vitamin D in your diet, then you'll have osteomalacia or a vitamin deficiency of some other kind like rickets, and that will be a big problem for you. And it's a steroid hormone as well, vitamin D is. So imagine a situation where you have a problem with your adrenal cortex and you don't produce enough steroid hormones. It would help you if you were to eat licorice, because licorice contains steroids. I have chosen to consume another steroid, which is, well, trifoliol in this case, and genistein. And those are steroid hormones, phytoestrogens, and that's what I've decided to do. Now, the social construction of illness means that I have personally, individually decided that this is an illness. I'm not transsexual, I'm not a woman trapped in a man's body. I am a man who is unhappy with the rebellion of his body against his desires. And if you imagine a celiac, someone who's gluten intolerant, growing up or living in a society where there is no gluten consumed, they wouldn't have a problem. And similarly, if I weren't growing up in a patriarchal society, I wouldn't have this problem. But I might have another problem, because it could be that the source of the problem is different. For example, I imagine that alcoholics that are growing up in an alcohol-free society might well have a different kind of addiction problem, although I'm not sure about that, and that's not based on research or anything. So that's possible as well. It's also connected to body dysmorphic disorder and anorexia nervosa. I look in the mirror and I see a bloke, or I wake up in the morning and I see hairy, muscular limbs and so forth, and find it very distressing. And similarly, somebody whose body is dysmorphic might look in the mirror and see somebody, or anorexia nervosa might look in the mirror and see somebody who is, in their opinion, obese or ugly in some way, and they can't overcome that perception. It's the same with me. You could also argue that it really is a disease because it shortens your life expectancy. In the developed world, men have a shorter life expectancy than women. There are also conditions where tumours develop in your body which secrete inappropriate hormones, such as adrenaline. And in my opinion, I have organs in my body that are secreting inappropriate hormones. I'm not going to get rid of them because they're part of my body, and I want to be at peace with who I am, even though I can't be. So I have to acknowledge the fact that I'm male as far as I'm concerned. I'm not in denial about my masculinity, and I'm not in denial about the benefits that it gives me socially, or in denial about the fact that I've been able to have children, and that is a good thing. And I would also like to be happy about the fact. But I think after all these decades, it's fairly clear that I never am going to be happy about the fact. And I think I need to face that, rather than just pretend that somewhere down the line I'm going to be integrated with my body in that way. It isn't going to happen. I'm also happy with my own status as a human being. I don't think there's anything wrong with me, and it's possible for me to love myself and have high self-esteem and that kind of thing, as far as being an actual human being is concerned, and all the other roles that I have as a parent, as a herbalist perhaps, although that's a bit annoying. And so all of that is quite positive. But what I cannot be happy about is being male. And what I also have to acknowledge is being male. That's not to say anything against other gender dysphoric people, that they see themselves as women in men's bodies or men in women's bodies, and it's not to say anything against other men. There's nothing wrong with other men either. This is just where I am personally right now, and it's not my place to judge anybody else. I cannot see it in any other way. So that's what I've decided to do. It's a physical illness. Being male is a physical illness. Gender dysphoria is not a physical illness, and it's something that I can manage but not cure. And even gender reassignment surgery wouldn't cure that, because it would make me into a woman. It would make me into somebody who's perceived as a woman but still has a male past, and so forth. So that's it for now, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.